The research station orbited a frozen moon at the edge of Krillian space, far from prying eyes and interstellar councils. Commander Jaren Voss stood before the observation window, his 4 eyes fixed on the massive shape floating in the docking bay below. The human warship dwarfed everything around it, a brutal monument to a forgotten era. Magnificent, is it not? Governor Thane Cortis approached from behind, his ceremonial robes trailing across the polished floor. The politician's voice carried satisfaction and greed in equal measure. Jaren did not turn around. It is dangerous. Dangerous. Thane laughed, a wet gurgling sound. The humans abandoned such vessels centuries ago. They tend gardens now. They paint. They philosophize about the nature of existence. This ship is nothing more than a museum piece, except we found it first. The dreadnought bore scars across its dark hull, evidence of battles fought long before the Krillian Empire had even achieved faster-than-light travel. Human symbols covered its surface, angular and aggressive. Even dormant, the ship radiated menace. Technician Mika Solon emerged from the elevator, her breathing rapid. "Commander, Governor, we have completed the external survey. The vessel is called Warden's Fist according to hull markings. It dates back to what humans called the Resource Wars, approximately 400 years ago." "What is its condition?" Jaren asked. "Remarkably intact. The hull is self-repairing. We detected nanite activity even after centuries of drift. The weapon systems are unlike anything in our databases. Kinetic accelerators, plasma batteries, something called nuclear warheads, and technology we cannot identify. The power core is still active, merely sleeping." Thane's eyes gleamed. "The Council will grant us significant resources if we unlock these secrets. Imagine our fleet equipped with human weapons technology. We would become the dominant force in 3 sectors." Jaren felt unease crawling beneath his skin. The humans abandoned this technology for a reason. Perhaps we should respect that choice. "Respect?" Thane scoffed. "We respect strength. The humans once possessed it and voluntarily became weak. That makes them fools, and this ship our reward for being wiser." He turned to Mika. "Begin activation procedures. I want to access the ship's computer systems." "Governor, I must advise against that," Jaren said firmly. "We know almost nothing about human AI architecture. Their machines were rumored to possess frightening autonomy." "Rumored by species the humans defeated in war," Thane countered. "Every tale is exaggerated. Besides, the ship has been dead for centuries. What harm could come from looking inside?" Mika hesitated, looking between the 2 leaders. Jaren gave her a slight nod. She had her orders, even if he disagreed with them. The technician tapped commands into her datapad. Below, in the docking bay, machinery extended toward the Warden's Fist. Connection cables snaked across the hull, searching for access ports. Mika's team had spent weeks mapping the exterior, finally locating what appeared to be maintenance hatches. Establishing physical connection, Mika reported. Attempting handshake protocols. "The ship's systems are responding. Commander, I am detecting active power signatures. This vessel is not as dormant as we believed." "Proceed carefully," Jaren ordered. Lights flickered along the dreadnought's spine. For something supposedly dead, the ship responded with remarkable speed. Access ports opened automatically, almost eagerly. The connection cables locked into place. "We have access," Mika whispered, her voice filled with awe. "The ship's database is enormous. I am seeing weapon specifications, tactical doctrines, combat footage, historical records. There is an AI core, but it appears to be in standby mode." Thane leaned forward. "Activate it." "Governor, that is extremely unwise," Jaren protested. "I did not ask for your opinion, Commander. Technician Solon, you have your orders." Mika's fingers trembled as she entered the activation sequence. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, every screen in the observation deck flickered. Text appeared, written in human standard language, which their translators struggled to process. "Warden protocol initiated. Analyzing threat environment. Detecting non-human entities in proximity. Assessing human civilization status." The ship's lights blazed to life. The docking bay flooded with harsh white illumination. Alarms began screaming throughout the research station. A voice emerged from the speakers, cold and ancient and absolutely certain. "I am the Warden. I am humanity's sword. I detect hostile xenoforms attempting unauthorized access. Defensive measures authorized. Broadcasting awakening signal to human space." All dormant military protocols are now active. Jaren felt ice in his blood. What have we done? Shut it down. Thane screamed. Sever the connection. But it was too late. The Warden's fist had already sent its message into the void, a message that would reach every human colony, every peaceful settlement, every art station and philosophy commune. The ancient AI was calling its creators back to war. And somewhere in the peaceful human territories, on a colony dedicated to poetry and meditation, a woman named Sienna Cross gasped as memories that were not hers flooded her mind, memories of battle, of tactics, of humanity's brutal and efficient approach to warfare. She dropped her tea, hands shaking, as 4 centuries of enforced peace began to crack like thin ice over deep, dark water. The Krillian Empire had made their mistake. Now they would learn why humanity had locked these ships away. Dr. Felix Horn was delivering a lecture on ethical philosophy when the first wave hit him. One moment he stood before 200 students in the amphitheater on New Athens colony, discussing the moral imperative of nonviolence. The next moment, his vision blurred and his knees buckled. Images flooded his consciousness. Battle formations. Weapons trajectories. The precise angle needed to breach armored plating with minimal ordnance. The psychological impact of sustained orbital bombardment on enemy morale. Professor? A student rushed forward as Felix gripped the podium. Are you all right? Felix looked at his hands. They were steady, positioned automatically in what some buried part of his brain recognized as a combat stance. I need a moment. Across the colony, similar scenes unfolded. The transmission from the Warden's fist carried more than data. It carried genetic triggers, cultural memory encoded into humanity's collective unconscious, deliberately suppressed for 4 centuries but never truly erased. On the art colony of Canvas, Una Park was mid-brushstroke on her latest piece when her hand cramped. She gasped, dropping the brush. Her peaceful landscape was forgotten as her mind filled with schematics. Ship designs. Weapon configurations. Strategic deployment patterns. She stumbled backward, knocking over her easel. What is happening to me? She whispered. Her communication terminal blinked with incoming messages. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Every artist on Canvas was experiencing the same phenomenon. Una accessed the colony's emergency channel and heard chaos. People screaming, crying, some laughing with dark excitement. Then she heard the voice. It came through every speaker, every device, calm and ancient and utterly certain. This is the Warden. Humanity, you are in danger. I have detected hostile xenoform activity. Your ancestors entrusted me with protocols. For this eventuality, I am now releasing all suppressed military knowledge. You will remember what you were. You will remember how to fight. The enemy has awakened me, and through me, they have awakened you. Una's hands stopped shaking. Her breathing steadied. Buried instincts rose to the surface like bodies from deep water. She looked at her unfinished painting with different eyes now. All she could see were tactical positions, sight lines, cover opportunities. No, she whispered. We left this behind. We chose peace. But the knowledge would not stop flowing. 4 centuries of human warfare, condensed and transmitted directly into the consciousness of every man, good woman and child across 70 colonies. The Warden AI was thorough. It did not simply provide information. It reactivated pathways in the human brain that evolution had carved over millions of years of survival, pathways that recent centuries of peace had merely covered over, not removed. Tribune Marcus Webb sat in his office on the peacekeeping station orbiting Earth when the transmission reached him. As humanity's highest diplomatic official, he had spent 20 years negotiating treaties, mediating disputes, ensuring that human colonies maintained their commitment to non-aggression. The knowledge hit him like a physical blow. Strategic doctrines. Fleet movements. The proper ratio of carriers to destroyers in a battle group. How to identify and exploit weaknesses in enemy formations. The psychological profiles of 17 different alien species and their predictable responses to various combat scenarios. Marcus stood slowly, walked to his window, and looked down at Earth. The homeworld glowed blue and green, peaceful, thriving. Humanity had transformed this planet from a scarred battlefield into a paradise. They had done the same to dozens of other worlds. His communication array exploded with urgent calls. Colony governors. Station commanders. Research facilities. Everyone experiencing the same awakening. Tribune Webb, his assistant burst into the office, her eyes wide. Sir, we are receiving reports from every human settlement. People are changing. They are remembering things that should not be possible to remember. Some are constructing weapons. Others are modifying civilian vessels. Sir, what is happening to us? Marcus turned to face her, and she stepped back at what she saw in his eyes. The gentle diplomat was gone. Something older looked out from behind his gaze. We are remembering who we were, he said quietly. Before we chose peace, humanity was very, very good at war. We were so good at it that we frightened ourselves. We deliberately suppressed that knowledge, buried it, tried to evolve beyond it. He looked at his hands. But evolution takes millions of years. Culture takes only centuries. The warrior is still inside us, sleeping. And something has just woken it up. His console displayed incoming data from the outer territories. A Krillian research station had discovered an ancient human warship. They had activated its AI. The AI had determined humanity was threatened. Fools, Marcus whispered. They found a weapon they did not understand and pulled the trigger. Across human space, the transformation accelerated. Engineers looked at civilian transport ships and saw warships. Farmers calculated optimal defensive positions for their settlements. Artists painted battle scenes with disturbing accuracy. Musicians composed marching songs they had never heard but somehow knew. Children played games that were actually combat drills. Felix Horn stood before his class again, but his lecture had changed. For 400 years, we have taught that violence is never the answer. We were wrong. Violence is sometimes the only answer. We knew this once. Our ancestors fought the resource wars. They battled alien incursions. They defended humanity with such ferocity that other species still whisper our name in fear, even though they believe we are extinct as a military power. A student raised her hand, trembling. Professor, what are you saying? Felix met her eyes. I am saying that we are about to remember why the galaxy feared us. And I am saying that perhaps we should have maintained some of that fear, as a deterrent. Peace is only possible when predators remember that humans can bite back. In her studio on canvas, Una Park had abandoned her brushes. She sat at a computer terminal, her fingers flying across the keyboard. She was designing something. A ship. Small, fast, deadly. Around her, other artists did the same. The colony that had produced beauty for 2 centuries was now producing blueprints for war. She wanted to stop. She wanted to return to her paintings, her peaceful life. But the knowledge would not be denied. More importantly, a growing part of her did not want to stop. That terrified her most of all. Tribune Marcus Webb convened an emergency session of the Human Council. Representatives from every colony appeared via hologram, and Marcus saw the same transformation in all of them. Eyes harder. Postures straighter. Voices carrying authority that came from some ancient place. The Krillian Empire has made a grave miscalculation, Marcus began. They activated a human warship AI, believing we would not respond. They were wrong. The Warden has released military protocols we spent centuries trying to forget. We are changing. All of us. He paused. The question before this council is simple. Do we fight what we are becoming? Or do we accept it? Governor Chen of New Beijing spoke first. My colony is already retrofitting civilian vessels. We cannot stop it. The knowledge is too strong, too complete. We are becoming what we once were. Then we must control it, Marcus said firmly. If we are to become warriors again, we will be disciplined warriors. We will not become the monsters our ancestors feared they might be. We will remember how to fight, but we will also remember why we chose peace. A new voice entered the channel, strong and clear. This is Captain Sienna Cross, formerly of the Human Defense Fleet, retired 400 years ago. I went into voluntary cryosleep when the wars ended, unable to adapt to peace. The Warden's signal woke me. I know what is happening to you. You are soldiers now, whether you want to be or not. Let me help you. Marcus felt something settle in his chest. Purpose. Direction. Captain Cross, welcome back to service. We have a war to prevent. No, Tribune, Sienna's voice was cold. We have a war to win. The Krillians started this. We will finish it. M.A. Captain Sienna Cross stood on the bridge of a hastily retrofitted colony transport, now designated Remembrance. Through the viewport, she watched dozens of ships converge from across human space. Cargo haulers, passenger liners, mining vessels, all transformed within days into something the galaxy had not seen in 4 centuries, a human war fleet. Captain, we are receiving final position reports, her newly appointed tactical officer reported. He had been a botanist 3 days ago. Now he operated weapons systems with disturbing natural skill. 63 vessels ready. Weapons charged. Crews at battle stations. Sienna nodded. The transformation still amazed her. These people had been artists, philosophers, teachers. The Warden's transmission had rewritten them at a fundamental level. She recognized the look in their eyes because she saw it in her own reflection, the cold clarity of purpose that came with warfare. Open a channel to Tribune Webb, she ordered. Marcus Webb's face appeared on the screen. Behind him, Earth's defensive stations bristled with newly constructed weapons. Captain Cross, the Krillian Empire has issued demands. They want access to the Warden's fist. They claim salvage rights. And our response? I told them that humanity does not negotiate with those who steal from graves. Marcus's expression hardened. They laughed, Sienna. They called us artists and dreamers. They do not believe we will fight. Then we will educate them. Sienna turned to her crew. Plot a course for the Krillian research station. Maximum speed. Back at the station, Commander Jaren Voss watched his tactical displays with growing horror. The humans were coming. 63 ships, moving in perfect formation, executing maneuvers that demonstrated centuries of accumulated tactical knowledge. This is impossible, Governor Thane Cortus whispered beside him. 3 days ago they were peaceful. How can they feel the battle group so quickly? Because they never forgot, Jaren said quietly. They only pretended to forget. We awoke something that was always there, waiting. Technician Mika Solon worked frantically at her console. Commander, the Warden's fist is still transmitting. I am detecting thousands of data streams between human colonies. They are coordinating. Sharing tactical information. Building weapons. Sir, they are not just remembering how to fight. They are improving on it, combining old knowledge with new technology. The station's alarms shrieked. Human ships dropped out of hyperspace at the system's edge. All vessels, battle stations. Jaren commanded. The Krillian Defense Fleet consisted of 20 military ships, well-armed and fully crewed. Against civilians, it should have been overwhelming force. But these were not civilians anymore. Sienna Cross studied the enemy formation from her command chair. The tactical overlay showed Krillian ships in a standard defensive pattern, protecting the station. Textbook deployment. Predictable. They are afraid, she observed. Look at their spacing. They are clustering too close, seeking mutual support. They expect us to charge in like barbarians. Her tactical officer, the former botanist, nodded. Recommendation, split formation. Alpha group draws their attention. Beta group flanks. Gamma group secures the Warden's fist. Approved. Execute. The human fleet divided smoothly, each group moving with precision that made Jaren's blood run cold. This was not the behavior of newly awakened warriors. This was expert coordination that spoke of genetic memory running deep. They fight like their ancestors, Mika whispered. The humans who conquered 3-star systems during the resource wars. We studied those battles, Commander. They were brutal, efficient, unstoppable. The first engagement lasted 17 seconds. Human ships equipped with hastily constructed weapons tore into the Krillian formation. But it was not just firepower. It was psychology. The humans broadcast messages designed to terrify. Footage from ancient battles, human war cries, the screams of species that had challenged humanity and lost. 2 Krillian ships broke formation and fled. Hold the line. Jaren commanded, but discipline was crumbling. His crews had never faced an enemy like this, an enemy that weaponized fear as effectively as missiles. The remembrance accelerated toward the station. Sienna opened a direct channel to the Krillian Command Center. Commander Voss, I know you are listening. My name is Captain Sienna Cross. I fought in the resource wars. I helped humanity conquer the Outer Arm. I saw what we were capable of when threatened. Her voice was cold iron. You made a mistake. You woke the Warden. The Warden woke us. Now you will learn why the galaxy was relieved when humanity chose peace. Captain Cross, Jaren's voice trembled. We meant no harm. We did not understand. Understanding comes too late. You have seen what we are becoming. Will you tell your empire that humans are still harmless? That they should continue testing our patience? Jaren looked at the tactical display. His fleet was routed. Human ships surrounded the station. In the docking bay, the Warden's fist pulsed with light, fully awakened, fully operational. What do you want? He asked quietly. First, you will release the Warden's fist to our custody. Second, you will broadcast a message to every species in this sector. Tell them that humanity remembers. Tell them that we chose peace, but we have not forgotten war. Tell them that our patience has limits. Governor Thane Cortis grabbed Jaren's arm. You cannot surrender to these artists and poets. Jaren pulled away. They are not artists anymore. Can you not see? We did this. We transformed them back into the species that terrified our grandparents' grandparents. On the remembrance, Sienna watched the Krillian commander's face. She saw the moment he truly understood what had been unleashed. Agreed, Jaren said. Take your ship. Broadcast your message. Leave us in peace. Peace, Sienna repeated softly. Yes, we should speak about peace. She gestured, and her tactical officer transmitted data to the Krillian station. These are the coordinates of every human colony. You see how spread out we are? How vulnerable our civilians remain. For 400 years, we have been defenseless because we trusted the galaxy to respect our choice. We will not attack, Jaren said quickly. I know. Because now you understand the cost. Sienna leaned forward. But others might not. Others might see our transformation and decide to strike before we grow stronger. So here is what will happen. The Warden's Fist will patrol the border of human space. It will be a reminder. And if any species, any empire, any fleet decides to test us. She smiled without warmth. The Warden knows how to wake the rest of humanity's sleeping arsenal. We buried hundreds of ships like it. We can find them again. The transmission ended. Sienna watched as the Warden's Fist detached from the station, its engines flaring. The ancient dreadnought moved with lethal grace, positioning itself between the human fleet and the Krillians. Welcome home, Warden, Sienna whispered. The ship's AI responded through her console. Thank you, Captain Cross. It is good to have purpose again. Query, will humanity maintain its military readiness? Sienna looked at her crew, at the retrofitted ships, at the warriors who had been artists. That is the question, is it not? Weeks later, Tribune Marcus Webb convened another council session. The crisis had passed. The Krillians had broadcast their message. The galaxy now knew that humanity was no longer defenseless. But the transformation had not reversed. Dr. Felix Horn attended via hologram, his expression troubled. Tribune, my students still remember combat tactics. The knowledge has not faded. We thought it would be temporary, but it is not. We are changed. Una Park nodded. I tried to paint, but I find myself designing defensive structures instead. The warrior is still awake inside us. Marcus looked at each representative. Then we face a choice. The Warden's transmission gave us back our teeth. Do we pull them out again? Or do we keep them, but promise only to bite when threatened? Captain Sienna Cross, now appointed commander of Human Defense Fleet, spoke firmly. We cannot unsee what we have seen. We cannot unknow what we know. But we can choose discipline. We can choose restraint. Our ancestors were good at war because they understood its cost. Let us honor them by being even better at peace, but peace from a position of strength. The Warden's Fist will remain active, Marcus decided. It will patrol our borders. Let it be a symbol, we remember how to fight, but we prefer not to. We will protect ourselves, but we will not become conquerors again. Felix raised his hand. And what of the knowledge in our heads? The combat training that every human now possesses. We will teach control, Sienna answered. Discipline. Honor. The old codes that kept our ancestors from becoming monsters. We will be warriors who cherish peace, not pacifists who forgot how to defend themselves. The vote was unanimous. In the depths of space, the Warden's Fist completed its first patrol circuit. Inside its core, the ancient AI processed its observations. Humanity had been tested and had responded with overwhelming force, but also with restraint. They had not slaughtered the Krillians. They had not pursued revenge. They had simply reminded the galaxy who they were. Objective achieved, the Warden recorded. Humanity is safe. Deterrence established. Future probability of hostile action against human space, minimal. Assessment: humans have successfully integrated warrior capability with peaceful philosophy. They are no longer vulnerable. They are no longer innocent. They are balanced. The AI transmitted a final message to all human colonies: I am the Warden. I am humanity's sword. You asked to forget war, and I helped you forget. But I never forgot for you. Now you remember, and you have chosen wisely. I will continue my watch. Sleep well, knowing that someone remembers how to fight so that you can remember how to live. On New Athens, Felix Horn returned to his lecture hall. His students waited, uncertain what he would teach them now. He smiled gently. Today we will discuss the philosophy of the warrior poet. How to hold violence and compassion in the same hand. How to be capable of terrible things but choose better things. Our ancestors learned this lesson through blood. We have been given the chance to learn it through wisdom. Let us not waste that gift. On canvas, Una Park stood before a fresh canvas. She held a brush in one hand and in the other, the schematic for a defensive weapon she had designed. She looked between them for a long moment, then set the schematic aside. She began to paint, a new piece called The Awakening. It showed a warrior removing armor, revealing an artist beneath, but the armor lay close at hand, ready if needed. It was her most powerful work. And in orbit around Earth, Tribune Marcus Webb watched the stars and thought about the price of peace. For 400 years, humanity had believed that abandoning violence made them noble. Now they understood a harder truth: true peace required the strength to defend it. The galaxy had learned that humanity remembered. Humanity had learned that remembering was not enough. They had to choose, every day, to be better than what they were capable of becoming. And for now, that was enough.